Good morning, it's Vlogmas day 16. We woke up at 6:30 again. Like, why? Why can't we sleep in once? And this is what we got last time. We got Goofy dressed like an adorable Christmas tree. It's a tiny box this time. Oh. Alright, this is what we got today. We got Princess Jasmine. Oh, look at her long hair. Hey everyone, welcome to Vlogmas day 16. So for this video, I kind of want to do a journal exercise with you all. Well, I already did it, but when I'm not filming and when I'm not watching movies, all I do is think. Like, my mind is constantly going. I'm constantly thinking about things. I think that's why I also worry so much, is because I'm constantly thinking. But lately, I have been thinking more and more about my 2018 goals. And I was really trying to, like, self-reflect. Like, why do I fail my goals every year? Like, what is my deal? And I think I read an article that, like, 70% of people that set goals for the year tend to fail, you know? So for myself, since I did have a handful of accomplishments in 2017 that I was really proud of, like, I want that trajectory to continue. I know I'm capable, so I'm trying to attribute that next year, I want to have a good year, and I want to not necessarily hit my goals, like succeed 100%, but at least work towards meeting my goals. Like, I would say this year, as far as the goals that I set for myself, I didn't achieve them. I had definite ups and downs of making progress, but for the most part, it was more downs than ups. So I want to change that for 2018. So for my journaling exercise that I did, I just kind of jotted this down. It's more like a self-reflection exercise of, why do I think I fail my goals? What can I do to change that? What sort of mindset can I change so 2018 will be more successful? And that is really what I'm trying to strive for. It feels like, to me, every year seems like a hard year, and sometimes it feels like the hardest year I've ever had. But even though 2017 had its moments of feeling really hard, when I look back and I look back at my accomplishments video, I'm really proud of myself. Like, if I had to just look back at 2017 of how I felt, I should not have any accomplishments. My accomplishments should have been 0 because of how I just felt about the overall year, that it was just a hard year. But when I look back and I look back at the accomplishments video that I did, even through all that, even through the storm of last year, I was still able to have these accomplishments that I was really proud of. So I know that I'm capable. I know that even though it's a hard year, I am capable of having achievements, of setting my mind to something and achieving what I set my mind to. So for this journaling exercise, just keep in mind that nobody is going to see your journal. This is just for you to be reflective, to be very honest. And after I completed this exercise for myself, honestly, it really helped me, and it's really helping me see my flaws and what changes I can make in 2018 to help make it a better year as far as goals are concerned. So I guess my main theme of going into 2018 is to be prepared to go into 2018. That not just start the year and be like, these are my goals, and have no plan and just kind of cross your fingers and hope for the best. I am trying a different method going into 2018 of being prepared, being very reflective of where I have failed and trying to work on that. So for me, when I was doing my reflecting, one of the things I jotted down in my journal of why I'm not achieving my goals is, I think that it's because I'm not being fully honest with myself. Like, I set out a goal, but I use the reason as not the true reason, you know? So for example, one of my goals was to lose weight. That is something that I constantly struggle with. And at the time when I set my goal, if you ask me, like, well, why do you want to lose weight? And I would say, oh, because I take a health assessment every year, and it says that I'm overweight. The doctor also says that I should lose weight because of like high blood pressure and cholesterol and all that stuff. And it's good to lose weight, right? I use kind of like a blanket excuse of reasons why. But while I was reflecting, I noticed, and this is the hardest part, is like getting out of your own head, being able to argue with yourself. If I was to be totally honest and transparent with myself, why do I want to lose weight? And to be honest, is because I don't feel very good. Like, I don't feel very good inside. If I were to reflect on myself and be very transparent, I think I can say the reason I don't feel good is because I'm overweight, and that leads to other health problems. Like, I had to go to my daughter's school for something, to visit her classroom. I had to climb 5 flights of stairs, and I was out of breath, like so out of breath that before I even entered the classroom, I had to like pull myself aside and just stop heavy breathing. And even during this Vlogmas journey this month, if you go back to my videos, there are a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I don't really feel very good. I feel nauseous. I feel achy. Like, I notice even when I'm editing my videos that I say that a lot, that I mention that a lot, that like when I'm out and about, I don't want to constantly think of, I want to go home because I don't feel good, you know? And there's another reason why I want to be healthy. Not only just to feel good, but to live a long life, because when I was talking to Elle, I think this was around the time when she was entering therapy for the first time, and we had to fill out all these questionnaires regarding like her fears and stuff. And I was talking to her and I was like, well, what are you afraid of? And I noticed, this is something that has come up before, but I kind of just pushed it in the back of my mind. One of the things that she is afraid of is that I am going to die and that she's going to be all alone. And she has mentioned this before, and then when she was entering therapy and I had to fill out all this paperwork, she mentioned it again. So that's like another reason for me, like why I want to be healthy. I want to somewhat ensure that I'm taking the steps to live a long, healthy life, to feel good and be there for my daughter, you know? I want to watch her grow up. I want to watch her go to college and get married and have kids or do whatever she does when she's older. I want to be there for her. So that's what I mean about like being very transparent with yourself. So say if you want to lose weight and your real reason is because you want to turn heads, you want to be that girl that turns heads, you want to be that it girl, then be very transparent and write that down, that you want to be that girl that you've never been before. I think that's okay to be very transparent. I think when you're not being honest with yourself, that's one of the reasons why we fail to meet our goals, because we are not putting emphasis on our why. So another reason I jotted down of why I have failed to meet my goals in the past is because it's not, my reasons why are not in my face all the time. I forget the whys. Like in the beginning of the year when I set my goals, I know very much why I'm setting the goal. But then as the year progresses, you know, we get busy, we get distracted, and those reasons why aren't so apparent anymore. And it's not until the why is in your face that you tend to make changes. And what I mean, so an example I can use is like, why do I want to be my own boss? I can jot down like, oh, I want to be my own boss because I have survived like 7 layoffs at my day job, and one day will be my day where my number is called and I will be laid off. And I don't like that hanging over my head, you know? I don't want some company to be in charge of my life. I want to be able to have my own income that I generate, and I want the ability to have a flexible schedule that's not dictated by some company. And again, I want to be there for my daughter. I want to be the one to pick her up from school, drop her off at school, to attend all her school activities. I want to be that person. As far as those reasons why, it's pushed to the back burner. Like, I forget that. I forget that sometimes. Like, it's not until I hear that they're doing layoffs again that my reasons why come back to the surface. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have put more effort into starting my own business. It's not until you're like laying in the hospital and you're saying, oh, if only I would have ate healthier, I could have avoided this. Your whys aren't in your face all the time until essentially it's too late, until you're faced with being laid off, until you're in the hospital. It's not at the forefront of your mind all the time because all the other noise of life kind of drowns it out, you know? So one way I decided to rectify this for 2018, and I'm gonna try to do this, make a separate video about this, but one way I thought about like making my goals more in my face every day is by making like a vision board of my goals. So that is, from what I researched, that's where you make like a poster board and you put your goals down. For me, I'm gonna put my reasons why as well, and you can decorate it however way you want. But the idea is to like hang it on your wall so it's always in your face. And for me, I'm gonna try to look at that every day and remind myself, these are your reasons why. Don't wait until it's too late. So another reason why I fail at my goals would definitely have to be excuses. Have I made a lot of excuses in 2017 as far as like my goals? Yes, but I think the form of my excuses isn't so obvious. And I think that's what excuses are, right? Like we're kind of lying to ourselves when we make an excuse. Like we're not taking accountability when we make an excuse. And for me, I think when I make excuses, it's not apparent to me that I'm doing it until I sit back and do what I'm doing now, like reflecting on myself. Like, did I make a lot of excuses in 2017? Yes, I did. One of the biggest excuses I use when it comes to food and like non-healthy eating is that, oh, I'm really stressed out. I deserve to eat this bad food like cake or pizza, you know? That's one thing I know I tend to do. And then as far as like how to not make excuses, that one's a little bit tricky, but as I was thinking about it, it's just one of those things where you need to hold yourself accountable. For me, it feels like I have to be of two mindsets. Like I have to argue with myself. I will make an excuse and then I need to have my mind also be able to put myself in check. Like I make an excuse and be able to catch myself right away. Like, hey, remember that this year we're not making excuses. So that one's a hard one. I think that one's gonna be a hard one for me come next year. But I wrote it down in my journal that I'm going to work on not making excuses. And I hope that I will be successful next year. But that one I'm still researching. I'm still researching with each of these flaws that I have. I research like how can I rectify this. With the excuses one, I still have to do more research on that one because I'm not totally sold on how I'm gonna catch myself and not make excuses. And another reason why I feel I have failed my goals in the past is that I'm trying to achieve too much too fast. Like in a sense, like my expectations are too high, or in a sense that I'm bundling my goal into like one big something as opposed to making that stair-step progress like I mentioned in my last video. So for 2018, when I set my goals and make my vision board, I'm going to make it more broken down steps so I can achieve things in a stair-step way. Like first achieve this, check it off, and then achieve this and check that off. Like, so it's just like a stair-step progression as opposed to lose 20 pounds by the end of the month. Like that was really hard for me when I would set those type of goals, because when I wouldn't achieve those goals, it would be really hard on me. So alright, so the last thing I have wrote down in my journal as far as why I have failed to meet my goals in the past is because I get discouraged very easily. Like I definitely get in moods where I will be stressed, or I will be in a bad mood, or I will be in that mood of like, well, why should I care anyways? And that's where I lose sight of my goals so fast, especially when I get in that mood of what's the point? What's the point? It's always going to be this way. I should just accept that this is how life is. That is something I need to get myself out of. And when I was brainstorming ways, like how can I not be discouraged? I think it goes back to reading my daily inspirational somethings, the quote or a passage in a book, like a positive passage. But I feel like not just that, like I need something more. Like I'm so good at discouraging myself. I need to really research more things. Like what else can I do to not have this happen in 2018? Because I think that's one of the big things that I encountered. That's one of the biggest roadblocks for me is feeling discouraged and having those mindsets that are so negative, you know. So that one, I don't really have an answer on like what I'm going to do because I'm still reflecting on that, and that's why I haven't created my vision board yet. That's why I haven't mapped out my goals yet in pen on my bullet journal, because I'm not quite ready. Like, I'm still doing the preparation stages, and then I will map it out and make my vision board. So yeah, that is what I have for you today. This is more of a reflective exercise. Like, sit down and reflect on your whys. Sit down and reflect on your reasons why you have not met your goals in the past. And for me, I felt like this exercise was really helpful for me. I am a very reflective person, and one of the hardest things to do is be honest with yourself. But keep in mind, you know, nobody has to see this, and if anything, you can write it out and then tear it up and throw it in the trash. But yeah. All right, so this quote is from Gina Showalter, and it says, "Giving up is the only sure way to fail," and that's true. So even come 2018, at the end of the year, if I still don't meet my goals, I am picking myself up and I continue to try, and that's the only way that we're gonna see progress, right? We may have a lot of failures, but one day we will hit success. All right, so that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later.